The Blues kicked off their 2025-26 Premier League campaign at Stamford Bridge, and it couldn't have been more frustrating. A goalless draw against Crystal Palace. Yes, a point on the board, but this was a game Chelsea fans will feel we absolutely should have won. Palace had their moment in the first half when Eberechi Eze rattled the net with a thunderbolt of a free kick, but VAR intervened in one of the strangest decisions we've seen in years. Disallowed because Mark Gui was less than 1 meter from the Chelsea wall. Rarely ever seen, but it's in the rulebook. Chelsea breathed a sigh of relief, but let's be real. That was the only time Palace threatened. The second half was all Chelsea. Domination, possession, pressure. Yet chance after chance went begging. And when the final whistle blew, Stamford Bridge was left silent, frustrated, shaking heads at what could have been 3 points, but ended as just 1. Here are 7 things we learned from Chelsea's 0-0 draw with Crystal Palace. Number 1. A terrible first half. If you wanted excitement, you didn't get it in the first 45 minutes. Chelsea's first half performance was honestly dreadful. Everybody looked lost. Cole Palmer, usually the magician pulling strings, was missing. Enzo Fernandez, who should be the engine in midfield, couldn't find his rhythm. Even Reece James, wearing the captain's armband, looked shaky in defense. João Pedro, our number 9, was left completely isolated up front. There was no movement, no creativity, no spark. Palace were happy to sit back, soak up the pressure, and wait for moments to counter. And when their chance came, that Eze free kick, it almost killed the atmosphere inside the bridge. The first half was a reminder that Chelsea can't afford to start games slowly this season, because teams will punish us. Number 2. New VAR Rule Learned. Let's talk about the Eze strike. What a hit. Laces through the ball, pure power, straight into the net. Robert Sanchez barely moved. The Palace fans went wild, the players celebrated, and for a moment it looked like Chelsea were in serious trouble. But then VAR stepped in. And here's the twist. The goal was chalked off because Mark Gui, standing at the end of the Chelsea wall, was less than 1 meter from the defenders when the free kick was taken. A technicality, one of those rules you've probably read about once in a referee handbook, but never actually seen enforced. It was harsh on Palace, and honestly, if the shoe was on the other foot, Chelsea fans would be furious. But rules are rules. The announcement was clear. After review, away number 6 is less than 1 meter from the wall. Therefore, the goal is disallowed. A weird moment, but one that saved Chelsea from going behind early. Number 3. Terrible first half, terrible second, terrible game. Now here's the brutal truth. Chelsea didn't just have a poor first half. The second wasn't much better. Yes, we had the ball. Yes, we camped in Palace's half. But what did we actually do with it? Not much. It was attack after attack, but with no bite. Crosses that didn't connect, shots that flew wide, opportunities wasted. Stamford Bridge could feel the game slipping away with every miss. By the end, it wasn't just frustration, it was anger. The fans expected more. This wasn't the statement when we needed to launch our season. It was flat. It was timid. It was, in all honesty, a terrible game of football. Number 4. Jamie Gittins flops on debut. All eyes were on Jamie Gittins, making his Chelsea debut. Fans wanted fireworks, a bit of flair, something to excite the crowd. Instead, what we got was a flop. Gittins looked nervous, struggled to beat his man, and offered no real threat going forward. He lost possession too often, and eventually he was subbed off early. His match rating, just 6.1, a debut to forget. Of course, it's only one game, and he'll get chances to redeem himself, but first impressions matter, and this one was poor. Number 5. Enzo Fernandez fails to show up. Let's call it how it is. Enzo Fernandez was one of the worst players on the pitch. For a player of his quality, his influence was almost non-existent. Palace's midfield trio, Sarr, Hughes, and Wharton, completely outworked and outmuscled him. Enzo couldn't dictate the tempo, couldn't find key passes, and when Chelsea needed someone to grab the game by the scruff of the neck, he went missing. Fans will expect much more from him this season, but today, he simply didn't deliver. Number 6. Wasted dominance. The story of the second half. Chelsea had all the ball, all the territory, all the momentum, and did nothing with it. We created chances but lacked the killer instinct. Players hesitated instead of shooting. Shots that did come were weak or off target. Nobody wanted to be the hero. It was the kind of dominance that looks good on stats, possession, passes, shots attempted, but football isn't won on spreadsheets. It's won with goals, and Chelsea had none. Number 7. 2 points dropped, not 1 gained. This was supposed to be a statement game, the first match of a new Premier League season, at home, against Crystal Palace, a chance to show the world we mean business. Instead, we stumbled. Palace will walk away proud of their defensive performance, but Chelsea will walk away disappointed. This wasn't 1 point gained, this was 2 points dropped, the kind of dropped points that can haunt you later in the season. So, the big question now is this: where does Chelsea go from here? Can Maresca spark life into the squad? Can our big players, Palmer, Enzo, João Pedro, step up when it matters? Because if today is anything to go by, we still have a lot of work to do.